in this race or not. That's not making any excuses. Again, I think he'll win the AJC Derby today. He won't win it by a lot, but he will definitely be declared a champion after this race.
Yeah, when they put the number in the frame, they pay out. And there's TAB number 2, Nothin Like a Dane. 11 starts, 6 wins, $1,388,090. And gee whiz, he looks the part today, the big horse.
Yeah, because he didn't run last week at Rose Hill, there's been question marks all week about his fitness. In the yard, he looks absolutely super. I think he'll run a very bold race. Gay Waterhouse is a very shrewd horse trainer. He'll be there in the finish. He
looks as good as he's ever looked. And there's TAB number 3, Saintly. The horse just nosed out by Octagonal in the Rose Hill Guineas, but was found wanting a little bit over 2,400 last week, Simon. Larry Cassidy to ride him. He's showing at $5.20. Nothing Like a Dane, incidentally, was $3.30. There's the Saintly Fan Club banner. And number 4 is Peep on the Sly. Bit rich for him, do you think, Simon?
Yeah, probably a bit rich for him, but some people are saying he may nose out and run into third and put out either Saintly or Nothing Like a Dane. Everyone believes that, well, the ones I've spoken to anyway, believe Octagonal will be the winner of the race. Peep on the Slide, this is really his true test.
Okay, showing at $11 on the tote, Peep on the Sly. There's number 6 in centre screen now, Filante. Just been behind the top group, not quite as developed as a few of those as Octagonal and Nothing Like a Dane. Filante, TAB number 6, is showing at $12 or just a touch more.
You'd be filthy if you owned Filante, because I think in any other year he'd probably be favourite for the Derby. But he's come up against 3 of the best horses in the land, and he's just a length or so behind them. It's a real pity.
Number 7, Super Slew, is one of the roughies at 100 to 1. They usually try and get me to say that Super Slew, but I think he's a little bit outgunned here, Simon.
Well, I think you said it very well, Ken. He's a chestnut gelding. He's by Air de France. He probably will stay the distance, but I just don't think he's got the class to go anywhere near the toppies. Over
from South Australia, the horse in the blue and pink there was Sky Bow, trained by Lenny Smith at Cheltenham, and then a Kiwi, number 9 Interval for Grant Cooksley. Number 8, Sky Bow, is showing at $81. Number 9 is 100 to 1 chance. Number 10, Reasons, is a 200 to 1 chance. He'll get a stitch coming around the home turn in this class.
I reckon he'll get a stitch well before that, and I just hope he doesn't get in the road of a few of the goodies. And that's with all due respect to Connections, but I don't think the horse will be up to winning the AJC Derby.
And the last horse along in the background there in the orange colours is the Max Lees trained Magic, to be ridden by Alan Robinson, another 100 to 1 chance, the last start winner at Canterbury, but in much easier company. Royson, the New Zealand champ, there's Magic in centre screen. Royson, the New Zealand Derby winner. You wouldn't often see a New Zealand Derby winner paying $15 on the tote in an AJC Derby, but he's doing that. There's Magic. Alan Robinson rides a lot of winners up on the tracks around the coalfields, and well, I think he'll just be earning his percentage here, or his losing riding fee, I should say.
I hope he gets a good look over his shoulder at times, and any of the goodies are coming at him, he gets well and truly out of their road and doesn't cause any problems. I really don't see Magic getting anywhere near into this race.
Talking about jockey, Simon, last week when Greg Hall rode the Golden Slipper winner, I said he'd spent some time at Rose Hill, and we got a phone call from Greg's mum this week, who just wanted to point out, in case anyone had any doubts, that Greg did start his apprenticeship with his dad in Melbourne before going on to Queensland. But Mrs. Hall, you're a doll, and thank you for going to... just a last-minute adjustment there to Saintly, Simon. That's not worrying him at all. He's got the right temperament for that.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's out in the middle of the racetrack. Probably the race of his life just about to go ahead, and Larry's taken off the Sir Signal, and up he goes there now. Girth in place, ready to run a bold race in a derby.
Okay, only 2 to go in. Interval here, the closest to us, TAB number 9. Interval has drawn barrier 11 in the field of 11, the outside stall, and then Saintly, who's drawn pretty much in the middle in barrier 6, or exactly in the middle, goes up to join them. Saintly's last one in. John Tapp's ready for the call of the Derby, and here he is.
There's trouble in gate 1, Reasons red. I think he's the bolter, Reasons, about 200 to 1 on the tote and 100 to 1 the bottom one. Magic. Now they steady. Saintly on the toe, so is Filante, should catch them here. Off and running in the Australian Derby, came away in a nice even line. Hard to find an early leader. Saintly is one of them with Filante and Super Slew. Interval rushing over from the outside, and Dye's going to go forward on Nothing Like a Dane. Midfield are a bit worse on settling down Octagonal, who's in between horses. Sky Bow on his outside. Peep on the Sly, not getting much room, is bumping with Reasons as they go out of the straight. And Magic is going back to the tail of the field, and Sky Bow is now dropping out last of all. on the turn out of the straight, and Interval takes up the running to lead by a length and a half to Nothing Like a Dane. Royson is third in the box seat on the fence, about 3 away. Filante on the outside of Super Slew, a gap then to Saintly on the outside of Reasons. Octagonal on the outside of Peep on the Sly. Magic is second last and Skybow is last as they go to the crossing at the mile. Into the back straight, Interval the leader by a bit more than a length to Nothing Like a Dane. Royson third, 2 to Filante, followed by Super Slew. Saintly is next on the outside of Reasons. A gap to Octagonal, followed by Peep on the Sly. Magic on the outside, pulling a bit. And Skybow is last as they head down the back past the 1400 mark. This leader got fired up a bit. Interval is pulling, led by a length to Nothing Like a Dane, getting closer. Royson third. 3 lengths away then is Filante, a length to Super Slew, followed by Saintly. Reasons next on the inside of Octagonal, a bit more than 2 to Peep on the Sly, followed by Magic, and Skybow on the fence is back at the tail as they reach the top turn. Interval led in a truly run derby by a length to Nothing Like a Dane. Royson third, getting a lovely run, a bit more than 2 to Filante, another 2 to Super Slew, and then Saintly, followed by Reasons. Octagonal's about 8 lengths off the lead, maybe a little more, and then Peep on the Sly and Magic, and 3 lengths away last Skybow. Past the 800 metres mark, Interval the leader by a half to Nothing Like a Dane. Royson third, hasn't covered 1 inch of extra ground. Filante is coming into it now, followed by Super Slew and then Saintly. Octagonal about to take off, 3 deep is starting to pick up these leaders as they near the turn, followed by Magic and then Reasons. Peep on the Sly and Skybow tailed off under the whip as they come around the turn where Nothing Like a Dane takes the lead. Nothing Like a Dane hit the front up the rise. Filante's the first to go after him. Here comes Saintly with Octagonal down the extreme outside, out after them now. Filante headed Nothing Like a Dane, further out Saintly, and here comes the big O. Octagonal with the last run at them. Filante, Saintly and Octagonal, they've come away from Nothing Like a Dane. Saintly and Octagonal, Beedman throwing everything at Octagonal, he gets there, yes, Octagonal wins the Derby. Octagonal again by a neck to Saintly. Filante third, Royson fourth, in front of Nothing Like a Dane, followed by Super Slew, and then Magic and Interval well back in the field. Then came Reasons, Peep on the Sly, and Skybow last in the Australian Derby.
Well, what a win. The mighty Octagonal. Simon, you give a big cheer there. What a horse he is. $2.20 and $1.20 on the place. Second, Saintly, and what a run he turned in. Here's the replay. Saintly giving heaps. Filante, what a race he turned in. And Octagonal grabbed them both right on the post. Darren Beedman, well might you wave your whip in elation. $2.20 and $1.20 the winner, $1.60 for Saintly, number 6 Filante third, $2.40. Okay, Filante hit the front with the white cap. Saintly grabbed him, and then along came Octagonal. I didn't think he was going to get him for a bound, Simon, but he refuses to get beaten.
Didn't get him. He was never going to get beat. He is a champion racehorse. He will always win by that margin. I say bring on Cigar, bring on whatever. We'll run him along Ellison Road on the bitumen. This horse is an absolute champion. Credit to Saintly, Filante as well. Any other year, Filante probably wins a derby, but it ran up against 2 out-and-out class horses. The Toppy, it is an out-and-out champion. It's the best horse in the world.
Here, and here he is again. Octagonal grabbing Saintly, and Filante, well, he was beaten less than a length, and what a run he turned in. Well, probably just on a length at the post, but Octagonal, as we look at the head-on, that's Filante on the inside in the white. The yellow sleeves is Saintly, and widest of all is Darren Beedman with the whip in his right hand. He wears gloves, Beedman. He gave him a few clouts, and Octagonal said, I'm here, fella, don't worry, I'll give my best, and give my best he did.
Johnny Hawkes has said for weeks the horse will only do as much as it has to win races. It will never go away and win by 10 lengths. It will just make sure at the post its nose is in front. It's done it again today.
Well, he's won about $4 million now, Octagonal. Johnny Hawkes, I think, will spell him now. I reckon he's done his job, and he'll come back in the spring when he'll try and win the second Cox Plate in succession. The Chicken Kings, Jack and Bob Ingham, I've never seen them more excited. First prize with all the extras is just over $700,000.